John Ridley and Steven Segovia continue Jace Fox's crusade against crime as he investigates the death of Anarchy, the moral authority, and their mysterious leader Seer, who is sowing even more chaos and dissent into the already fear-filled Gotham. John Ridley hits another home run with a really fantastic and relevant issue that explores the nature of fear, extremism, and more of the fake news being spread inside of Gotham by Seer, a character who we've already seen over in the Nightwing book, but one that is getting properly explored here, or at least her actions and her reactions to those actions are happening here, since she's stoking the fire of extremism really well. Ridley really swung for the fences here exploring such topics, and I really enjoyed we got all sides of it as well. We've got Jason Montoya realizing that there is this kid who was just radicalized by all of this stuff that Seer is putting out into the airways, and a kid who's just manipulated and preyed upon, while the cops and Tanya Fox know he needs to be punished for what he did, but they also agree that he also killed a mask, which is a good thing to them since they don't tend to like people who are vigilantes or people who wear masks in Gotham. It adds a really unique dynamic for the characters, especially Jace and Tanya, being that they are family, and we saw some of that friction from some of the previous issues, so I imagine we'll see more of that as this event continues to progress. Steven Segovia tags in as artist for a wonderfully drawn issue filled with some really fun action that kind of feels like movie storyboards at some points, being that John Ridley wrote for movies and TV. A lot of his action that he writes in his script feels like it's being made for a movie or a TV, so the art kind of reflects that, particularly near the end where Batman throws his motorcycle at a bunch of goons. I can see that being sort of like a big fight scene at the end of like a TV show episode or a midpoint in the movie. I thought it looked really quite fantastic and very clean and stylish. I Am Batman issue 2 was another extremely pleasing issue that explored many of the hard-hitting topics like extremism and fake news, giving us a great perspective from all sides as Batman himself gets involved in fear state. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10. I Am Batman issue 2 finds Anarchy shot to death as Seer wonders what it means to be heroic, knowing it's always protecting the truth and special people have a moral authority to protect the truth from people like Mask, the Magistrate, and the government, who are their oppressors, but the listeners of hers are special and they have an obligation to expose the lies. A group of thugs nearby run away from Batman, firing into the shadows as they run low on ammo. The fearful men all hole up in an alley, continuing to fire into the shadows until they are out of ammo, and that's when Batman attacks. Batman beats the men down, telling the final knife-wielding man just to give up as he parries the knife, driving it into the man's own leg and cracking him against the wall. Batman knows that this man owns the warehouse that was blown up recently, but the man refuses to talk. So Batman puts pressure on the knife wound, with the man finally revealing that someone paid him off to lease the warehouse to them and not ask questions, and he can't go to jail for something he doesn't know. Batman points to their guns, knowing that they are ghost guns, illegal stolen weapons that he wants the man to explain to the arriving cops, knowing that the cops better put him in jail since he won't let this slide. In the Gotham Police Detention Center, Detective Whitaker and Chubbs interview Morris, telling him that he doesn't need to talk without a lawyer, but the man wants to since he didn't do anything wrong, explaining that they are all under siege by the agents of the Hidden Agenda, the shadow government that is controlling everything and protecting masks. Whitaker wants to know more, learning that the man was on patrol and he's a member of the Moral Authority and they have been sworn to defend the city from the Hidden Agenda. He reveals that he was the one who shot and killed Anarchy, being that masks are now illegal in Gotham. He hopes he's special because of it, as the detectives want to contact the young man's parents and let them know he's alright, hoping he won't say anything else until he meets with a lawyer. The detectives go and see Commissioner Montoya, who wonders how the city declares open season on masks and sets up a private army to deal with them, but some kid ends up doing the job and taking the fall. Whitaker feels sympathetic for the kid, but Chubbs knows that he's gone soft on masks and he doesn't deserve any sympathy just because he's a white kid. Whitaker knows that's not fair, but Chubbs knows that the kid was old enough to buy a gun and use one, and he was anti-government, so he could easily have killed them as soon as he killed a mask as well. Montoya calms them both down, demanding they get the boy processed into the system since she needs to go and talk to someone. Jace meanwhile begins piecing together Arcadine's plans, knowing that he's setting up the anarchists with weapons, then escalating the violence between the people, masks and police, and Anarchy is just the latest victim in all of this. Vol hopes that Jace has considered if Anarchy could be killed, then so could he, and the man knows that, but he needs to stop the chaos as well, wanting to follow the money since whomever is paying Arcadine is behind this. Vol knows that they'll soon know since the courier he busted in Vietnam just turned on the man and is being returned to the US for questioning. Jace knows that Arkadine won't see a day in jail thanks to all his money, wanting to go after Seer first, but Vol doesn't even think that person is real and is just something made up by Scarecrow. Jace knows that there is a kid the same age he was when he messed up, staring down a murder charge all because of the fear Seer put in his head, and he knows he needs to stop it while the rest of the bats go after Scarecrow. Vol reminds him that the magistrate are coming for him and the police chatter is now talking about a second Batman. Jace knows he needs to do this work, asking the man to dig up what he can on the moral authority, but Vol hasn't found much, knowing that they are a bunch of different armed groups, and beyond that, Seer is just a digital ghost. Jace asks Vol to hack one of the moral authority's message boards and pose as Seer and ask for a meeting place, knowing that Batman will show up in her place. Montoya meanwhile goes to see Tanya Fox, telling her she's there on official business, knowing Tanya is well aware of Anarchy's murder. Tanya knows it's not murder, it was justifiable homicide, but Renee knows that what it really was a young man committing violence because the city is dialed up so high on paranoia people can't think straight, and the man is facing a charge with nothing more than an overworked public defender at his side. Tanya knows the boy's family will raise money or something, as Renee implies that she wants Tanya to take the man's case and defend him. Renee knows how clear her and Lucius have made their feelings regarding masks are, thanks to him putting the company behind the magistrate, but Tanya knows that this is none of her concern. But Renee wants her to take this seriously since a child murdered Anarchy in their streets, and it should concern Tanya as much as what happens to her own children. Renee tells her that this isn't about some anti-mask law, since if she isn't making sure the legal system works for everyone, then she isn't really doing much of anything. She asks Tanya how is it right for a kid to spend his entire life in jail while the people who used and manipulated him walk free. Tanya knows that that's a complicated question, but Renee has experience with those. Elsewhere, the moral authority gather, wondering where Seer is as Batman arrives, jumping off his motorcycle and allowing it to crash and explode into the men. One of the men shoots him in the chest and the hero pretends to go down, but fires his grapple into the man's face, breaking his nose as he beats the man down. Batman wants to know about Seer, but the man knows he's not scared of a little beating from Batman, knowing the hero won't go further. Jace says that he knows that Batman doesn't kill, removing his mouthpiece to reveal to the man that he's not the Batman they think he is. He threatens to snap the man's neck and drag his carcass through the town if he doesn't talk, so the terrified man reveals that no one knows who Seer is, but they are everywhere and they will come looking for Batman. Batman is more than happy about that, as the man tells the hero that the real Batman could have handled Seer, but not him. Jace knows that's true, but just to be clear, he is Batman. Seer again asks the people what it means to be a hero, citing that Morris Caulfield is a hero since he liberated them from Anarchy, and now the agents of the hidden agenda want to persecute him for it. But Morris is special and he must be protected, so the moral authority need to protect him and do something about the Batman.